Hey, bricks and mortar retailers, welcome to this week's training in our Facebook group and on YouTube. And we're talking today about how to manage your business finances. And this falls under the category of what I call my retail profit management system. So, when it comes to managing money within our bricks and mortar stores, retailers make a whole stack of mistakes. They mix personal and business funds together. They have a single bank account for all transactions, and having all funds in one bank account leads to expenses easily eating up the business resources and making it very, very challenging to manage your business. Um, by the way, I've just jumped into it. So there is a worksheet as always. I beg your pardon. If you want a copy of the worksheet, please make sure you pop the word worksheet below and I'll get it out to you. Um, yeah, so that's it. So the big mistake that we make is, like I said, we mix personal and business expenses together. It makes it really hard to optimize your business financial performance when you're doing this. And like I mentioned, I always spoke about the single bank account. The other big mistake that we make is we fail to plan for our taxes. So we know that taxes are going to come around every year. And many of us it brings us by surprise. Have you been in that situation? I certainly was when I was running my pharmacies. And, neglecting to set aside money for taxes can just result in a basic shitstorm when it comes around to tax season. That's a really, really big mistake. And another really big mistake that we make when it comes to managing finances, um, you know, within your store is the concept of not paying yourself first. So this is a pretty new concept for many bricks and mortar retailers. And what I'm going to challenge you to think about in this presentation or in this workshop today is to start to think about paying yourself first, because when you start to pay yourself first, and I'll go through that in a lot more detail, you end up running your business far more efficiently. And as a consequence, you don't end up overspending on your business and running your business. Whoopsie. So, yeah, and that's the consequences. When you don't have a money management system in place, like this retail profit management system, it makes it really, really hard to manage your business. You're probably finding that you don't have, enough money. You definitely risk overspending in your business because you've got no clear gauge of what's happening. You definitely run into tax time troubles, right? So failing to set aside money for taxes can lead to significant issues. Obviously, you're scrambling last minute, and like I mentioned before, it's a real shit show. One of the other consequences of not managing your money properly, I alluded to, is you end up having an overly fat business. So when you start to run your business with excessive funds in one account, which can lead to unnecessary expenses, and then you think you've got money there, and then you start investing in areas that don't contribute to your business growth, it really leads to financial bloating with your business. So it's not an ideal place to be, and this happens to all retailers. Even happens to the big ones too. So if we get this right within our store, um, basically, we are going to have a far more profitable business because we're managing our money a lot better. Our cash flow is going to be up. You're going to find that you're going to start to be able to pay yourself correctly. And in some instances, pay yourself more. In some instances, you'll be paying yourself less because you've been overpaying yourself. But I think the main thing here is you've got this separation of funds, which I'll go through, and you're going to be ready for tax time. You're going to be ready to create a buffer account. You're going to be ready to run your business in a much more optimal fashion. And it's so integral that you have some sort of system in place on how to manage your business finances. And what I'm proposing to you here is the retail profit management system, which is so beneficial. I've used this myself when I was trained by my business coaches to use this. I use this with my current clients as well. And it's a great system once you get your head around it. So let's walk through the retail profit management system on how to manage funds within your store, how to manage money within your store, right? So the easiest way, there are so many ways that you can manage money, and I'm sure you've heard A lot of personal finance gurus, experts, if you will, always recommend that you set up bank accounts, separate bank accounts for your personal system, for your personal finances, I beg your pardon. And it is no different to running a business. This is what I highly recommend, that you start to create what I call different buckets or different bank accounts. You want to consider creating bank accounts for your profit. So that means we want to start putting aside money for your profit in advance. We want to start putting aside money for your taxes in advance. You want to start putting aside money for your business expenses in advance. And the same thing with your owner's salary as well. So whoops, that's up there. So I forgot about that. So that's what you want to start to do, is start to create bank accounts for these different systems. I beg your pardon, different buckets, so that you can start to run your business a lot more efficiently. Obviously, in this little workshop, I'm going to run through an overall system. I'm not going to go through any detail. I go through the detail with my clients. So, but you should be able to work through this and come up with a system that works for you. So, the main step here is allocating money that you're going to put into these separate bank accounts. And you want to make sure that you do it weekly and that you want to stick to the program. So, allocating money weekly, putting it into the bank accounts, it just allows you to have much, much better control of your store, and is a great way to manage money within your store. It's just so much more efficient for you. So here is what you need to do, and I'll walk you through it very, very briefly. So the first thing is you need to make sure that all your daily sales go into a main account and you're banking all the money there. So hopefully you've got, I mean, many of us, this would be our normal trading account, the one bank account that we have. And we want to make sure that all the money goes in there. So this is where I put my disclaimer and say that many of us who are doing funny business, under the table, cash type stuff, we need to stop doing that. And we want to make sure that we plunk in all the money into our trading account. This is so important. Not only does it allow you to manage the business better and your finances better, but by taking funny money off the table and putting it back into your store, you're actually increasing the value of your store and you're increasing the profitability, which is what it's all about. We want to make sure that by increasing the value, increasing the profitability, I beg your pardon, you increase the value of the store, and that leads to a whole heap of other benefits, which I've spoken about at length ad nauseum before. So you want to make sure that all your daily sales go into the main account. For retailers, I recommend that every Monday we do these transfers, right? In the beginning, it's going to be a little bit daunting before you start automating this process, but every Monday, I want you to do the transfers into these various bank accounts of yours. So profit, you want to put aside money in advance for profit, for your profit. So this is a strange concept. You're probably saying, Alvin, I'm not making any money. How can I'm not making any profit. How can I be putting money aside for profit? It's a legitimate question. But what I want you to do is to start getting into the habit. That is the first step. That is the step one. And just by getting into this habit of putting money aside, not only you've got this psychological benefit in your head of seeing this account grow, but putting the money aside for your profit, like I said, leaves you less money in which you to run your business. And this has a great impact. You'll start to discover that you can actually run your business on a lot less money and you become far more efficient. So you want to make sure that you start putting money aside into this profit account that I've got. You also want to start putting aside money into your owner's salary. I'm going to go into how much money you should in a moment. I'm going into a lot of us are kind of stuck on how much money we should be paying ourselves. And, I use a very simple formula based on the business. Some of us definitely aren't paying ourselves enough, but I've got a few clients and many of us maybe are paying ourselves too much and that we're taking too much money out of the business. You want to make sure that it's it's a nice balancing act, that you're not drawing out too much funds from your business. But so you want to make sure that you're taking out profit, allocating profit every month. You want to make sure that you're allocating your owner's salary out of there every month. And these are two different things, right? So owner's salary versus your profit. Think of your profit as your like the bonus money that you're going to be getting that you can't touch yet. It's going to be something that you can touch later on, but your owner's salary is something that you're going to be using to live your day-to-day life with and pay all your personal expenses through. But so you need to take it as a drawing. Please don't pay it out of the shop account. I think I've spoken about this already. Transfer it to this separate bank account and then use that money from there to start to pay yourself. So that's where you need to start doing that owner's salary. Taxes, like I mentioned, we know they are going to be coming, so we need to start setting aside money for that as well. Really, really important. And expenses. So it really depends on your store. I encourage some of my clients to have a separate bank account for expenses because it allows you to see everything. Some people can use their daily sales account as the expense account as well. It just really depends on what works for you. But I highly encourage you to have a separate bank account. So, of course, I've spoken about transferring money. And then it gets to the stage like, how much do I transfer out, right? This can be very, very tricky. That's why I really advise you to work with a business coach. You'll find that many of us have strategies like this that we can start to help you with implementing into your store. So we want to start low with profit. So I hear many of you saying that my business is not making any profit. And okay, cool. But we need to start transferring money out. So we need to start really, really low. And we need to start with a figure that works for you. Obviously, that figure is different for every store, but start low. With my clients, we come up with a figure for them to start doing that. We want to ensure that our wages are within limits. So we're making sure that we're transferring how much wages are coming out. Taxes. You always want to make sure that you transfer taxes at around 15%. So when we set aside taxes, I want to make it really clear, I beg your pardon, that we're allocating taxes not only for your business, but for your personal expenses as well. So you want to allocate 15%. Obviously, for your store, we need to start off very, very slowly. And expenses are the rest. So this is a little funds allocation matrix, which I work with my clients in using on how much to take out. Obviously, if you start off taking out that much from the beginning, apart from tax, you're going to run into a whole heap of strife, like I mentioned before. So you need to start very, very slowly until you get into the habit of transferring. You get into the habit of running your business on less money, and you start to get into this rhythm. But there should be no negotiation in that. From the beginning, I want you to start putting out 15% of your funds that are coming into your bank account into your tax account. So that's really, really important. So then what we do then is we start assessing your money, like how your business is going, how much money you're taking out, how much to allocate. And this is a little matrix that I use with my clients to fill out. I'm not going to go through it at any great length here, but it's a really great tool to figure out how we are going. It's a really great tool to figure out where we are in terms of how we're tracking. I've given an example here of I beg your pardon, of one of my supermarket clients. And so basically you'll see that we've got the revenue coming into the store. In this case, it's 1.4 mil. Sales tax we take out because we need to look at the net revenue that our store brings in. Okay, so depends which part of the world you're in. You're definitely paying some sales taxes. Take that out of the equation because we need to look at your net revenue. And if we look at our net revenue, according to what the previous target allocation matrix target funds allocation matrix I've got here, you can see that ideally in an ideal store, we want to be taking out for this size store 10% of profit. Okay. And we want to be taking out, so that means in a store turning over 1.3 million, we want to be taking out about 130,000 in profit. We want to be taking 130,000 in owner's salary. And it doesn't mean you're going to spend all that profit, by the way, but that's how much you should be targeting to take out. And for tax, we need to be allocating that 195,000. And what's really key for me here is we need to be running our business on that 65% of that 846K is our expenses there. So this is a little money assessment sheet. If you have a look on the first column, it's the actual. So as an exercise, you'll get a copy of this sheet. Make sure you pop the word worksheet below. Is you can fill this out. And on the left-hand side where it says last financial years, put your actual numbers down. Based on the size of your store, you'll see what your percentage matrix need to be. The actual dollars, well, you can work that out. And the differences here is this lets you know how good you're going, how much you need to adjust in what you need to be increasing or decreasing, and what sort of actions you need to take when it comes to this section, when it comes to how to manage the finances within your store. I want to reiterate here that it's obviously, I've gone over this very, very quickly. There's a lot more nuance, but I'm showing you here, like, this is how you need to manage your business finances with this retail profit management system within your store. Get in touch if you want some help, because you're going to need help with this. It's very challenging for somebody to do this on their own. Not only is the fear side of it, but if you start taking out too much money, your whole business is going to go belly up because you're not doing it properly. But it is something that you very much need to consider. And which is why I've reiterated that you need to start slowly. Start taking out 1% every month, every few months, until you reach your target profit percentage. So even you could start taking just your gross takings for the week, take out your tax, and just start taking out 1%. That's what I would do. Start very, very slowly. And the same thing with the expenses. Start decreasing your expenses by 1% monthly until you reach your target expenditure rate as per the allocation. I've spoken at length about how you can go about decreasing your expenses, and hopefully you're already using some of the strategies there. So in summary, the best way to manage your business finances is to use my retail profit management system. It forces you to be a lot more efficient with your money, and it ensures that you're not overdrawing. So what I mean by overdrawing is it ensures that you're not overspending in your business, obviously, and that you're not pulling out too much money from your business, which is another big thing that can happen as well. But it just makes sure that you're running your business far more efficiently. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is focus your business on profitability. Focus on maximizing the amount of profit that your store is producing, so that you can increase the value of your store. And that's so important, because that's one of the key steps in making sure that you've got this well-oiled machine of a retail store. So there you have it. That's my retail profit management system for bricks and mortar retailers on how to manage your business finances. Like I said, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below. And until next time, catch you later.